happy Tuesday afternoon, everyone out there. Welcome back to the channel. This is Clay with the Pennsylvania Roller Coaster Club. Please follow us along on Twitter or X at ClayPRC. And additionally, right now, 17% of the current viewers of the channel are subscribers to the channel. So if you could, please help make an impact. Consider subscribing to the channel and liking the videos. It's the biggest way to say thank you to us. Now, just a couple days ago, we posted the video for top 10 coasters that didn't live up to the hype. These were the roller coasters that I had felt after the first ride, I was just very underwhelmed. Now, on the transverse, today we're going to look at the top 10 rides that I immediately knew were incredibly underrated. So, without any further ado, let's get this kicked off. Number 10, Zeus at Mount Olympus Theme and Water Park in Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin. And Mount Olympus and the Wisconsin Dells area, it got a big shot in the arm a handful of years back when Hades was turned into Hades 360. And it is the primary attraction for the park. But it does not mean that you can sleep on Zeus. This CCI masterpiece is, it's phenomenal. It runs very quick and very smooth right now, thanks to some retracking efforts that were made by the park. And I can't say enough about this ride. If you have not been out to Mount Olympus, try to get out there. Very underrated. Moving on to number 9. Going to Carowinds, down in the Carolinas for Copperhead Strike. Now, for some reason, the vast majority of the coaster community has a ton of hate and vitriol for this ride, and I don't get it. Some of the most common complaints have to do with the launch, or the lack thereof. People want that launch to be forceful, no matter what kind of ride it is. However, I completely understand why there is not a more forceful launch on the ride. Because if there were, then you would go through the inversions too quickly. And it would take away all of those amazing stall and hang time moments. Moving on to number 8. Stormrunner, Hershey Park. Now, this Intamin launch coaster, hydraulic launch. This is an accelerator model, just like Accelerator at Knott's Berry Farm. And just like the original Top Thrill Dragster and like King to Ka. And this ride, for some reason, always seems to get overlooked in that conversation of best accelerator coasters. People always want to talk about the intense launch of Accelerator. They never want to talk about the intense launch of Stormrunner. People always want to talk about the height of King to Ka, but they never want to talk about the rest of the layout that Stormrunner gives. Moving on though, number 7. Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket at Universal Studios Orlando. This ride is polarizing to say the least. As a matter of fact, just recently, it was the cause of a lawsuit against Universal due to an unenjoyable ride for a mother and her daughters. So I can't really say that I've had that experience. If anything, I've had probably some of the better roller coaster experiences of my most recent Florida trips on Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. Killer ride. Number 6, Verbolten, Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. Now, I know that a lot of people quantify this ride as a family coaster. And I mean, I guess I do too, just due to the height restriction. But, man, this is so much more than just a run-of-the-mill family coaster. Being able to utilize the same drop that Big Bad Wolf did to be able to feature the Rhine River, absolutely nostalgic to me. I think the inside portion of this ride is very forceful. Can catch you off guard if you are not anticipating it. And, you know, at the very end of the ride, well, towards the end of the ride, they give you a a little bit of a surprise, and I won't spoil it if you haven't been on it, but if you haven't been on it, do yourself a huge favor. Make some plans for you and some friends, or you by yourself, or you and your family, whoever that theme park group is that you like to go with. Get a trip out to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, and experience Revolting for yourself. You won't be disappointed. Moving on to number 5. XCaliber at Funtown Splashdown, USA, in Saco, Maine. Now, this is a new credit for me this year. This was my number 600th United States roller coaster credit, and boy, was I happy to hit a home run on this one. I've had some monumental ride numbers be marred by some pretty underwhelming roller coasters. This was not one of those monumentous occasions. This ride is awesome. The best way that I can explain it, in short, is the best parts of the Raven matched up with the best parts of the Legend from Holiday World, and boom, you kind of have XCaliber. It's the jack of all trades, if you will, of CCIs, and now that this has been so expertly retracked, this is way underrated. Moving on to number 4. Pipeline, the surf coaster, SeaWorld Orlando. Now, this ride is awesome, even if it did cause a lawsuit, and even if it was stolen technology from a patent held by Vekoma. It's still awesome. The ride experience is like nothing I had ever felt before. I have this distinct memory of Kristen and I being side by side, getting launched down this first runway, about to go onto the little wave turn, and we were both cracking up hysterically because you shoot over that little airtime hill and you are completely off the floor. You're off the floor, you're off your butt, you're just kind of hovering there in air. As you see that little airtime hill right there, it really does hit so hard. And the rest of the layout is just as good, to be honest. I know that when you look at the ride off-ride, you don't necessarily think that it's going to be very forceful or very amusing, but try it standing up. Let me know what you think then. Moving on to number 3. Thunderhead at Dollywood. This is by far the most underrated wooden roller coaster in the United States as of this recording, in my opinion. The last couple times that I've been to the park, this ride has had one of the lowest lines in the park, even with recent retracking work. And it's made absolutely no sense to me. It's made no sense to the people that we were with. This is world class. This is arguably, could potentially be, the best GCI in the world. And on any given day when it is hauling ass through its layout, you could very well say it is the best GCI in the world. The ride just leaves me speechless every time I'm on it. It is fast, it's smooth, it's intense, it's everything you want in a great wooden coaster. Number 2. Wow. How does this ride not get talked about? Goliath at Six Flags Great America. Oh, it pains my heart. Guys, it pains my heart. How can people talk so negatively about this ride? They never give it the credit that it's due. I always hear that the ride is too short. I always hear that the ride doesn't have enough elements. Well, let me fill you in on the way that I see this ride. This ride is not just elite, but it is hyper elite. It's only 3,000 feet of track, but every single second of that ride feels complete. And the 3 elements that it does feature, it knocks them out of the park in Grand Slam fashion. So underrated. So very good. But number 1, Pantheon. Going back to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, for a ride that, again, I don't understand how we don't talk about this ride on a weekly basis. It's that good. It's the most complete ride in America for my money. I don't know if I'll go as far as saying it is my number one overall, but boy, is it damn close. If it's not number one, much like last year, I'm sure it will remain in the top 5 or 10 at a minimum. I will go as far as to say that it is of my belief that this is maybe the best Intamin in the United States. And that even includes rides like Sky Rush, Velocicoaster, Millennium Force, if you even want to include that still at this point. I probably wouldn't, but for you Millennium Force fanboys, I figured I would throw it out there. You name an Intamin, and element for element, second for second, ride enjoyability and re-rideability, I will put this up against anything in the country that Intamin makes, and probably just about anything in the country, period. One of the best rides in America, and so highly underrated. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed this video, enjoy our takes, and enjoy the content that we're able to put out on the channel, please like the video as well. It really does go a long way at being able to help us combat the YouTube algorithm, which, mind you, has not been too friendly to roller coaster content creators as of late. So, with that being said, please let me know in the comments below, what are your most underrated rides? What are the rides that you rode and immediately knew, this is not getting the credit that it deserves? As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, we'll see you out there.